And political analyst Michael Geoghegan into this discussion on this. Michael, good to see you. So your thoughts, Liberals, Conservatives, NDP, the Green Party, they've all applied for the wage subsidy, saying that they want to keep their employees working. The Bloc is saying this is not something for us.
Well, I certainly think it'll make the Bloc, popular with their Quebec supporters. But the other thing is, and I certainly get the public's reaction where they'd be like, not pleased with this. But on the other hand, in these unprecedented times, largely, we have a situation where the government is a minority government, but it's also, enacting major legislative and policy changes by OIC. And so, different things that have come up, like the $2,000 a month subsidy, that was because of the influence of the NDP. There's been a lot of anger about the assault weapons ban. The Conservatives are trying to hold the Liberals' feet to the fire on that issue. And in fact, there's been some clarification sent out via Twitter from Minister Bill Blair. So in this kind of weird time, I think we actually need to have those political party staff. And it's also a situation where, keep in mind, we have banned corporate donations. We have limited individual donations. So, it's not like in the States where you just make sure you go to the right collection of billionaires and corporate CEOs and your party's funded. You actually have to go to ordinary Canadians to get funded. And ordinary Canadians are off work. They're struggling to make ends meet. Even before this thing hit, many were struggling paycheck to paycheck. So I think it's kind of understandable that if we're going to ban donations from, large donations from wealthy individuals and large corporations, that in these tough times, we also step up and make sure those political parties and their staff can still do their job.
Yeah, it's interesting. And a lot, as you say there, for a minority government to be juggling here, not knowing, of course, what the end game is going to be. And clearly we're seeing, of course, all Canadians being affected by this. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, but also on the heels of this. In the next day or so, Monday, just a day away, Parliament is set to resume. What that is going to look like, there's a lot of opinion on that. Michael, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, because what we're all struggling with is, how do we come out of this quarantine, and what steps do we take, and how do we avoid kicking off a second, even more deadlier wave? Because that's certainly what happened 100 years ago with the influenza pandemic, right? They ended the quarantine too early, and the majority of people actually died in the second wave, not the first wave. So as Parliament gets together, obviously there's going to be interesting procedures. I think we're going to see governments asking the general public to wear more in the way of masks. So that's going to be an issue of how do we make sure the general public has access to those masks where they can purchase them or receive them. So, again, because of the situation, minority government, a lot of stuff being done by OIC, et cetera, there is a very necessary and legitimate role by the opposition parties on both the left and right and their staff. And we need to be able to make sure that they can still do their job.
No, exactly. And I guess it'll be interesting to see which template is going to unfold on Monday. And then from that point on, whether it be a combination of in-house and the virtual, whatnot. But we certainly I think there's going to be quite a bit of debate on that before things are officially confirmed. Political analyst Michael Geoghegan, as I said, great to see you. We hope you're doing well. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.